Hello and welcome back to the channel. This is part 3, the software. So this is installing the IDE, setting it up so for the Nano and the Teensy board, and also installing the various libraries that's required. So first up, we're going to, if you haven't already, download and install the Arduino IDE, so you can get it's free. You can get it from that link. There's some good documentation if you click on there. Once you're happy, you select the operating system that you're using and download it. Once it's downloaded, then we'll install, or we'll open up the Nano sketch. So there's the Nano there, the Nano sketch. And now it's all open. Where it says Arduino Nano, a new install won't have that. You'll have to select that board, but for now we don't really need to select the board at all. So with the sketch open, now we can look at installing the libraries. So that's the include. First up, not necessary, but we can have the Arduino Nano as the board, and there's the libraries there. So all those include libraries that we need. The Y one, that is a standard installation. So we can see that in the examples. Next one is the Adafruit NeoPixels. Again, that is part of the standard package of the Arduino IDE. Next one, which is the Adafruit GFX. So that's the graphics and the fonts that are going to be displayed on the OLED display in Nova. So we'll just look here in the library manager. I think if I kept typing Adafruit space GFX, it would have found it in the list. Instead, I'm just scrolling down everything with Adafruit in the title. So there's the library there. So I'll hit the install button and install all the dependencies. There you go, the library's now being installed. So we can check that again by going to the examples, and there it is there. So that library's installed. The next one is the Adafruit SSD1331. So that's the drivers that are needed for the OLED display. We need to go to this Github and get the drivers from there. So basically we need to download the drivers from this Github, and they'll be a zip file, and then we'll install it. And then once we put it into the library folder, we'll restart the IDE. So just go to code and download the zip file. So that will go to wherever you download the files to, and then we need to copy that across into the Arduino library folder, wherever the Arduino library folder has been installed on your machine. We need to rename that as it said in the instructions, so now we've renamed it to Adafruit SSD1131. Then we'll restart the IDE. And once the IDE is restarted, I don't want to update the latest version of IDE. It should be in the library manager. Again, I think if I kept on typing SSD, it would have found the library instead of scrolling through the list. So there's the library there, and it's been installed because it has the remove button on it. The next library is SPI. So that's another standard library that gets installed. That's for the SPI bus. Next one is the EEPROM, standard library as well. And the next one is NewPing. So this is a library for the ultrasonic detectors. So we just type NewPing in there. There we go. Hit the install button and NewPing will be installed. So the Nano needs to have its EEPROM flashed, and we need to do that so we can save a couple of the variables in the EEPROM. So every time the Nano starts up, those variables will be set, and there's the variables there. So the Nano, we can have it just not plugged in anything, and it'll run off the 5 volts on the USB port, and we can download like that. But if we have the Nano fitted into the PCB board, there's a couple of switches for this RSTSW1 switch. Must be in the 1 position, which is the off position, otherwise the Nano won't upload. I've also put the other switch that's the RxS1 switch to 1. That just goes to the TXRX plug, which isn't used. So RSTSW1 switch must be in the 1 position before we can upload to the Nano. Once we've finished uploading to the Nano, we return that switch back to on. That way the code can reset the Nano if it needs to. So now we can got all that set up, we can flash the EEPROM and upload the Nano software or the Nano sketch. So if you haven't already got it open, we need to open up the Nano INI, which is the sketch. So that we can see the Nano is open. We're just going to make sure we've got the Nano board set, and also the COM port. When you plug the Nano in and power it up, the IDE will find the COM port. So it may take a little bit of time for the computer to recognise it. Now the Nano's hooked up to the COM9. I don't know how it picks COM9, but it did. So we need to scroll down to line 255, and there's a set of instructions there of what we need to do. We need to make sure the debug is off and the switch is all set active. It's not super clear what those switches are, but it's those ones that was at the start of the code. By default they're set like that anyway, but it doesn't hurt to check. So debug is off and all the other switches are active. So we'll scroll back down to 255, and the instructions then we need to uncomment the line 259 and 260. So that's taking the backslashes away. And now we need to upload to the Nano. So now we're putting this code onto the Nano. So that's putting that data into the EEPROM, flashing the data to the EEPROM. Now that's done. The instruction said after we've flashed, we need to put the comments back in that line so it doesn't do it every time. And we need to download again or upload again to the Nano to put this variation of code into the Nano. There you go, so now the code in the Nano is all set and it's ready to use. The Teensy, because it's not an Arduino board, it needs to be installed into the Arduino IDE. So you can see here, if we go to the board, the Teensy isn't on that list. So to get that on the list, we go to this website and we need to download this software. So this is only for Arduino 2. So I'm using 2.3.4 and I think the latest was 2.3.6. So what we need to do is we have to copy this HTTP and put it into the additional board manager. So we'll just copy that. And in the preference section, we'll just paste that URL in there. And okay. Once that's done, we go to the Arduino window and go to the board manager this time. Before we was working in the library manager, but now this is the board manager. Type Teensy in there and we should be able to install it. So there's the board manager. As the instruction says, we type in Teensy and there it is there. So we're going to install that. So now once this is done, the Teensy board will be in that list of boards. So it takes a little bit of time. And successfully done. So we're going to now open up the Nova SM3 calibration INO. There's two Teensy programs. This is the first one for calibrating the servos. So that's the first one we're going to use. So we can see we got the calibration. Says we need the that .h and that's there. And also the Arduino Adafruit PWM servo driver. So this is the library. So if we go into the library manager and type in Adafruit PWM, we can see that's come up there now. It's not installed, so we need to install it, and again all its dependencies. So that's been successfully installed. So that's the only library that we need. So we can verify that. So that's the tick box. I've got Teensy 4 board selected there. It won't do if you've got the Nano board selected. And it come back with no errors, so that's okay. Now we'll do the other program, which is going to be the main program that Nova runs after we've done the calibration on the Teensy. This is Nova SM3 Teensy, and because I'm using the MP3 Pro, it's this version of the sketch. If we scroll down the sketch a bit, we can see it needs some libraries. Once again, the first one is wire. That's a standard install. The Adafruit PWM servo driver, that's the one we just installed. T4 power button. So we need to go search for T4 power button and go to the Github where the driver is, or where the library is. And we click on that button, and as before, we'll go there and download the zip file. Now we're going to copy the zip file from where it was downloaded to and into the Arduino libraries folder. So there it is there, so it's zipped up. So a slightly different method of installing the library. We go to add zip, select the that file, and it will unzip it and install the library. We can check that the library's been installed now by scrolling down the examples page section, and we can see here is the T4 power button has been installed. Next library is software serial. That's another library that's installed by default. The SPI is another library that's installed by default. RF24, so that's the library for the NRF24L communication. So we just type in RF24 and it's come up in the list, and we can install it. Once again, if we go down the examples, we can see that it's been installed. So now there's one last library, which is for the DF Player Pro. So this is DF Player Play. This is a very old library, and it's in the code that you upload as part of the Nova project. If you go to code, Arduino libraries is sitting in there as DF Robot DF1201. So you need to copy that out of there and paste it into your Arduino library folder as a zip file. You can see this is version 0.1, so it's an early library. You won't find it on the internet or anything like that, so this is the only place I could see where it was. So we're going to install it the same way as we did with the T4 power button, because it's a zip file. So once it's installed, it will work alright. I had a bit of a problem with this because it's such an old library. It wouldn't work the other DF player projects that I've built or that I intend to build. So here's my workaround. You can use it or just stick with the old library if that's all you're going to be using the Arduino IDE for. So first up, I'm going to install the latest version of the DF Player Pro library. So that's the DF121S. So I've installed that. So where it says include DF Play, I'm going to change that to DF1201S. So that's going to install the latest library, or they'll look at the latest library. So I'm going to comment out the old library with the 2 backslashes. Now this next line, I'm going to comment that out and redo the line, but this time I'm going to use DF Robot DF, the latest library. So now everywhere the software sees DF Player, it will just use that library. And now we save the changes. So I've tried this on the Nova and it works okay. Now we're going to test the board. So the Teensy needs the track cut so that you separate the V in and the voltage on the USB, which basically means that the USB will no longer power the Teensy. So you need to have the supply on the Teensy. You just cut this track. It's very small. You need a sharp knife and a magnifying glass or something to make sure that you cut the track. There's a video explaining why you need to cut the track, and I'll link that in. So right now I've got Teensy board managers, but I haven't got the Teensy plugged in yet or powered up. So it's connected to the USB but not powered up. Now it is, so it comes back as COM3. So now we can upload the calibration INO or the main sketch. So I think that's a good place to end this video. It's gone on for a little bit. The next video I think will be about the electronics, and then after that we'll do a calibration. So thank you for watching, and we'll catch you next time.